Yeah, we're back for the second part of this little nonsense talking about the gold and silver markets, and I hope I'm not complicating it too much. Now, just before I start, I just want to put a couple of caveats in. People are going to start talking about EFTs, exchange traded, or sorry, ETFs, exchange traded funds, and all. Look, at the end of the day, they're just certificates too. All right, they're just share options. Okay, share certificates. So look, I'm just trying to get my head and to get your head around a simple concept. What generally happens is there is a hard core at the center of gold and silver. If you want it, you have to pay a premium price. If you want the physical stuff, you pay a premium price. Now, people are going to tell me this. I forget the name of it. There's one of the countries, I think it's Australia, and you can trade it there, and the government guarantee you that the money there. Listen, all my life I'm hearing all this horseballs lemon stuff. Okay, unless you have physically the stuff under your floorboards or in a safe, a wall safe somewhere or whatever, you don't know what you've been sold or what you've been traded. Okay, you don't know nada. You know nothing unless you physically have it. So what happens is, in these markets, at their core, they do have a fixed amount of the stuff for people who do need it and need physical delivery of it. The rest of it is all an illusion. Alright, a derivatives market based on bits of paper. That's all. But they can trade the bits of paper just like we can trade today money. Fiat money, that stuff there. People still accept that at face value for what it represents. It's derived off a real thing. It's derived off silver and gold. It used to be. It's now directly derived off the health of the economy. In this particular case, because that's a dollar, the American economy. And that's how on the Forex markets it's traded. My country's healthier than your country in financial terms, so my money should be worth more than your money. Alright, still a derivative market. But in the gold and silver market, to get back to that, we're in a situation where there's a hard core and it's physical gold. And then what you have is, I say, you have all this paper. Now, I always believed that it was about 10 to 1. I always thought it was the fractionalized banking trick. That's what I thought they did. And then what happened was, several months ago, a man appeared out of nowhere. A man called Andrew MAGUIRE. And Andrew MAGUIRE is a commodity trader on the COMEX in London. Okay? And what happened is, he jumped ship. Now, he's an independent trader, and the reason he jumped ship was he saw the market was getting manipulated. And people say, how could they manipulate that market? Sure, it's the simplest thing in the world. What they do is they get banks. This market will be trading along normally doing X or Y, right? Just doing normal trade. And all of a sudden, somebody appears out of nowhere into the market representing one of these big banks, and they start selling huge quantities of the stuff. I'm talking about gold or silver, and they force the price down. That's what happens. It's a supply and demand relationship. And if there's a huge amount of supply and there's not the demand, the price goes zip. So they control the price. If you have enough, if you're holding enough of those certificates, you control the price. So I'm telling you, all this market stuff is just balls. It's all ballsology. No such thing as any free market. You believe that, you believe it's a fucking leprechaun at the bottom of my garden. It's all run for the big boys. It's all run on their name and for them and their fucking heirs and fucking future. That's what it's run for. Not for you. If you manage to make money out of any market, all power to you. All power to you, that's all I can say. But you're in the definite minority. Anyway, you want the physical thing if you can get it. But it turns out that this Andrew MAGUIRE, anyway, he goes and he approaches a crowd called the Commodities Future Trading Commission, and they're based in New York. And they're the governing body, and they down all the rules and regulations. And he basically tells them what's going on. That it's Morgan's Bank, the Morgan Bank, and also Goldman Sachs. About 6 big banks. big American banks, have been playing the gold and silver markets for their own advantage. Dumping shares, dumping colossal amounts of shares whenever they want to force the market down. And anyway, cut a long story short, he went and makes this report, an official report, and have a big inquiry as a result of it. And nothing's done. And the next day he's driving through the streets of London, and out of nowhere, somebody in a 4x4. He's in a little car with his wife. This fella Andrew MAGUIRE. Somebody comes out of an alleyway in London and drives straight into their car. Him and his wife end up in hospital. Big coincidence, isn't it? But you see, they really don't try to kill you when they do a thing like that. They're just sending you the message. And the message is, if you mess with the big boys, this is what happens. Do you understand? This is what happens. So they don't. That's the first message, and there might be another message, and then they kill you if you don't lie down. They do kill you. They suicide you, and how they do that is they get you on your own, and 2 or 3 of their henchmen come take you away to somewhere else. And they probably drug you, fill you full of stuff, and they leave a suicide note and shoot you in the back of the head for a couple of times, just probably to make sure. You know what I mean? Or put a shotgun in your mouth. That's what they do generally, or sawing off shotgun. Make sure the back of your head's blown off. But they did that with that fella Kelly. Do you remember him at the time of the Blair thing? Do you remember him? Remember him? The whistleblower for Iraq. Nobody gets down in the way of that, going down. That was big time money going down there. This is all about money. It's not about ideology. It's not about anything. People that tell you that are all dreamers. They all want to believe that there's Satans and holy ghosts and bogeymen and cupboards and all that. Listen, I tell you something. This is this world. This world's only run by one thing: money and power. That's all. Nothing else. There's no bogeyman at the bottom of the bed. There's no Satans. There's no nothing. There's only money and power. That's all there is. And if you get in their way, as I say, and you continue to get in their way, they will kill you. Generally, they do give you a warning to warn you off. If they think they can put the frighteners on you. If they can't, they kill you. But anyway, the main thing I wanted to go on about is this Andrew MAGUIRE. He and several other people have now come forward and they've said that this thing is leveraged to 100 to 1. So for every 100 contracts that are struck on a daily basis on the NYMEX or in the COMEX in London or anywhere else in the world, on any of the big exchanges like in Tokyo or in New York or Paris or wherever, for every 1,000 contracts there's only one contract that can be fulfilled physically with silver or gold. That'll give you an idea of what's going on. So people think that if people made the demand for the gold, it would collapse. People aren't going to make a demand for it. They may make a demand for the gold. They're never going to make a demand for the silver. As I've explained to you, where do you put 2.5 tons of silver? What do you put in your garage, like? Bury it in a field? What do you think we are? Like, we're back to the 16th century. We're coming across like from the Panama with a shiploads of silver from the Indies into Spain and Portugal. Get real. People are happy with this. This is all people you're playing with. This is all a game. You must remember, life is a game. We've entered into this game. The only problem is we don't control the game. Another crowd control the game. They've 83% of the action. The top 10%, the elitists, the globalists, they've 83% of the action. You play for the other 17%. You play and you fight for the other 17%. Anyway,